I will call the public hearing to order in regard to the Irmo zoning ordinance, Article 2, Section 4.2, in regard to the neighborhood gas.
Artie, do you have your thing on? Yeah, it's hard to hear. I can't.
I'm sitting on it now.
There you go. Thank you.
All right. Let me start over with that.
Good.
The public hearing in regards to the neighborhood commercial zoning change in regards to allowing or not allowing gas pumps in those areas. Is there anyone who would like to address the council on the public hearing? See none. We will close the public hearing, and I will call the regular meeting of the Irmo Town Council to order, and I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together, Lord, tonight. We thank you for being able to serve and represent the town of Irmo. Give us wisdom, Lord, and just help us in our thoughts and our process and our words and all that we say and do. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Next item on our agenda is the reading of minutes from February the 2nd, 2016. Is there a motion for approval as written?
So moved.
And is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor again of the minutes being approved as written, do so with show of hands. Next item is the administrative. Mr. Brown, anything you'd like to add?
Yes, sir, two things. Councilman Walker had asked last meeting. I have hand carried those Dennis flood reports to both SCDOT and Richmond County. They've got a letter with them, and haven't heard anything yet. So give them 2 or 3 weeks, I would guess, before they respond back to us.
You got a copy of that letter?
I have them in my office, yes, sir.
Can you send me a copy?
I will do that. Also, we've applied for the hospitality grant with Richmond County for the orchestra. Same as last year, asked for $40,000 again. And Heather Hardy on the orchestra commission has resigned. So, one has been on family issues.
Her husband's condition is not getting better, I guess.
That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Brown? That's what I understand. Seeing none, next item on the agenda is amendments to the agenda. Any amendments to the agenda?
I don't know if it's in order now, Mr. Mayor, to amend the second reading of ordinance 1602, or should I wait till we get there?
Yeah, you wait till we get there.
I just want to be
Make
sure.
sure it gets a second first, and then
Yes.
all that good stuff. Seeing no amendments, then the next thing would be consideration of communications. And I think we have a Shay Alexander. And, yeah, and you just come up to the podium and speak.
Hello.
Hey there.
Okay, just dive right in, should I?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, what I'd like to do, it'd be too loud, what I'd like to do is propose a concert series in Irmo Community Park. And I'm looking to create a fun family-friendly event to bring music to the park outside of the orchestra. I know that happens yearly, but to date we have no musical events. And looking at the the makeup of the town of Irmo. The average age is 34. It's a diverse community, and I have the ability to feed that. I'm tied to the music industry, which allows me the ability to bring in musicians, headline musicians, local and regional musicians. This event will be called Rhythm in the Park to start this year and become an annual event. So again, we tap into the local musicians as well as regional musicians, and leading up to one headliner. What I'm asking is for the support of the town of Irmo to bring this vision to fruition.
Do you have something?
I do. Maybe one too many copies. I'm not sure how many of you there were. And so just to give a bit of background on who I am, again, I'm Shay Alexander. I'm a radio personality, multimedia talent, not said by me, but by many who know me. I have 2 radio stations that run successfully online radio stations. One is R&B, one is jazz. My R&B station reaches 5.5 million listeners worldwide. Now, it does stream worldwide, and surprisingly, Columbia, South Carolina is number 5 of the top 10 states that listen to Shay's Lounge. So with that in mind, not only am I tied to the entertainment industry and I have the ability to bring in name talent at a reasonable cost because I'm in touch with these people, but I also have the ability to shed a light on the town of Irmo. Where many see Irmo, South Carolina, as a small town on a big map, I intend to make it the place for fantastic musical events. This has to be the place that people would want to come to. I wouldn't say the modern day Woodstock, but the place where one would come to experience rhythm in the park, showcasing local regional talents and just bringing headliners, name acts to the town of Irmo.
And I think it said Friday.
It would be ideally starting May 6th. If it can be, I envision it being a series, a small 8-week series. Alternately, we can do a weekend show. But it would be Friday evening simply because when you look at the week, Sundays I don't think is necessarily a good day because you go to church and it's a family day. Saturdays, you compete with football, you compete with errands, you compete with so much that happens, just a lot that happens on a Saturday. So Friday evening is the end of the week. And people are looking for something to do outside of the club setting. I personally don't do clubs. So to have something in the park that's not in the blazing summertime or in the chill of winter. Have you felt outside these past few days? So I'm thinking a nice spring affair would be nice on a Friday evening. Bring your blanket. Bring your, I don't want to say your coolers or anything because we will have vendors, but come out and just have an experience. Bring the kids and just come kick back, relax, and have a good time in the park.
You said it's every Friday for 8 weeks and starts at 6 o'clock.
Starting at 6 o'clock every Friday for 8 weeks.
You consider the impact of traffic and stuff, people coming from downtown, because I believe it's 6 o'clock at night, and it's a parking lot on Lakemore Boulevard.
That is true. I mean, I'm not tied to the time of 6 o'clock. I wanted to catch people directly after work. once someone gets home,
Like a happy hour type?
like a happy hour, consider it a happy hour, come straight after work, bring your change of clothes to work, and just know that on this day, Friday evening, I'm going to the park to go hear whomever. And I've spoken with several acts, and the interest is sparked. The interest is there. And this came to me because I've interviewed the who's who in the industry. You name them, I've had the pleasure of speaking with them. And I'm often asked, where there can we come play? We want to come to South Carolina. And quite frankly, I have nowhere for them, so my intent is to create a space. Even if it's once a year, they know that they have somewhere to showcase their talents at this time of year.
You're talking about national talent, not regional?
National,
Okay.
regional, national talent, as well as local, because I don't want to ignore the local talent. Columbia is rich musically. Sadly, they have nowhere to showcase that, so they leave the states to go to Charlotte, to go to Atlanta, to go to other cities and states. Why not showcase them here where they are?
Okay. And you're looking for the town to kick in, well, 20,000, so let's put a proposal in.
Yes.
But you're gonna need more than that.
I will need more than I'm also in talks with certain sponsors. I'm looking at some big name sponsors. Tying Shays Lounge Station and my company to that, them having national and global recognition. Again, I'm in talks with various people, so I do intend to tap into sponsors to supplement what the town can contribute, hopefully can contribute to that.
I think this is something that we'd have to discuss further,
Okay.
because there's certainly impact on traffic and an expense to have the officers direct traffic during that time. Are you charging people to be?
No, this would be a free event. Again, free for the family. And although the time is noted as 6 o'clock, it can be 7, but I feel that I know the mindset of the target audience, and it's while they're out. So we catch them where they are, out, and they will make their way there. So you figure from 6 until 10, the park closes at 10 o'clock. So from 6 until 10, to have something for them. And, we're talking musicians, we're talking DJs, we're talking just a musical experience. And everything, let me stress, everything is family friendly. So when I look to bring the talents on board, it has to be. My station is family friendly. I'm family friendly. So when I look to bring the talents on board, they would have to be a family friendly act. So same thing with the DJs. Just music that's going to make you feel good. What better way is there to unwind after a long week?
In terms of vendors?
Yes.
Are you thinking of food as well as
Yes.
liquid libations?
Yes, I am.
So,
Food, arts, drinks,
so if
just,
someone brought their children, they could
yes,
all have dinner?
yes.
Okay.
Don't stop and pick up pizza on the way, just come straight to the park. We're waiting for you.
Okay. Good.
Any more questions?
We gave the chamber, was it 23,000?
13,400 is what we gave them. 2 years.
Have you discussed with the chamber?
2 years, yeah.
What?
26,000.
At all? Have you approached the Chamber of Commerce?
I have not. I do recognize that the Chamber attempted to do something similar last year, or I think 2 years ago. And you learn from what goes well and what goes awry. I chose a Friday night because, once again, it's the end of the week. You're not competing with football. You're not competing with much of anything on a Friday evening. Sunday, they tried it on a Sunday, I believe, and then they may have switched to one. It was a bit I don't know what happened, but what I know is music, and what I know are musicians. And I had in putting on the Caribbean Family Day in Finley Park, I've put together music award shows. So when it comes to putting together events and understanding the mindset of the people, of the community, I feel I have my finger on the pulse, I feel. So again, a Friday evening is best. Not a Saturday, not a Sunday. So it could be Friday at 7, giving them time to come from downtown, but not a Saturday, not a Sunday, a Friday evening.
Are you by any chance related to Karen Alexander?
I'm not. I know her well.
You should be.
I know her well. The Auntie Karen Foundation. Yes.
And she's on my mind because I communicated with them today.
Oh, okay.
Today's the 16th of February. You have enough time to get it together for more.
Well, and that's just it. I'm asking for a review and a quick yay or nay, because anticipating a yes, I like to think positive. Anticipating a yes, I am speaking with artists, and I am, beginning the planning stages of making this happen. So when I do get a yes, I'm ready to launch.
Bob, let's put that on the next agenda then. Give her $20,000 for her running the park. The next agenda being the next meeting we have.
March 1st.
Okay.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is presentation by citizens.
I have a communication.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I have been in contact with a lady, a lot of us remember, Libby Green, and she is ill tonight, otherwise she would have been here. For those too young in the audience to remember, she's a former mayor of Irmo and longtime council member. And she signed the agreement with the Owners Club, with the Women's Club, when the Women's Club turned it over to the town of Irmo. And I talked to her at length, and I'm sorry she can't be here, but she did send this email and asked that I read this. If those that have been elected to serve the town aren't interested in honoring the good faith arrangement of 35 plus years ago, it is no longer my job to right a potential wrong of others. Hopefully someone will find their backbone and do the honorable thing. I look forward to the outcome and wish you all the best in this decision.
Thank you. Anyone else with consideration, communication? Seeing none. Next item then is presentation by citizens for agenda items only. This is where anyone who would like to address council on anything that's on the agenda tonight may do so. We just ask you give us your name and address for the record and the item you want to address.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. George Glassmer, 100 Denbeck Road. I'd like to address items 9B and 10A together, specifically the Oprah Strat. First item I want to talk about is I received from Mr. Brown a copy of the Oprah Strat financial review that I understand he's provided all of you, dated February 3rd of 2016. It shows the profit and loss that the Oprah Strat experienced for the last 10 calendar years. And as I review it, I see that in the last 10 Oprah Strats, 8 of those have had a net deficit. That is, at the end, when the dust settled, they lost money, and there were only 2 profitable years, one in 2010 in the amount of $1,766, and the most successful one last year of over $10,000. Now, I point this out because there's been ongoing debate and discussion as to whether or not the Oprah Strat has historically made or lost money, particularly from a number of councilmen, both on this and the previous council. I urge all you to look at this, okay? If there's any part of this that you don't understand or don't agree with, I urge you to contact Mr. Brown first thing tomorrow morning, set up an appointment with him to sit down and have him walk you through it, because I'm sick and tired of hearing this debate and this argument over whether or not the Oprah Strut made or lost money. Here it is in black and white. The numbers speak
Where's
for
that
themselves.
on the meeting, where's that on the agenda? About the.
Excuse me,
Addressing,
Oprah Strut is,
Here you go, and you don't see where it's. Can you point it out to me?
I think you said what, A and B?
yeah, 9B and 10A.
Okay, so where's that, where's the? what was
If you have a question, if you have a concern about that, Mr. Mayor, I'd be glad to address that.
Yeah, I guess go ahead and address it.
Okay, fine, I'd be happy to. Because the issue of the Oprah Strut, every time it comes up on any issue, the profitability or loss, it seems to be the linchpin to any discussion regarding the Oprah Strut, and it certainly is relevant to whether or not, which is going to be my next topic, whether or not the ladies group it has a fee waiver or not, because on the last time at the last meeting council discussed this, one of the concerns as to whether or not to give them the fee waiver was can it be, is it affordable, and it's only, and obviously profit or loss on the Oprah Strut helps determine whether it's affordable. Therefore, Mr. Mayor, I argue this is relevant. I hope you could understand that, Mr. Walker. The other thing I want to talk about is specifically...
Mr. Glassmeyer, if I may.
Yes,
What
please.
you're stating here is over the last 10 years, the Oprah Strut has lost $190,542.
Well, I don't know. I haven't done anything.
I have.
Okay, I don't dispute that. I mean,
I have.
I haven't done that specific
Yes.
arithmetic. I don't.
190,542 came out of the town coffers to help out the Oprah Strut.
I don't argue that. I just haven't done that arithmetic.
It's right there.
Okay.
What was the balance, what was the balance in the Oak Strut account?
Let him, we're gonna
You
get back.
lost money, you had a balance in their account.
The balance was negative, sir.
It wasn't negative, they had money in their account.
I believe I have the floor here, don't I, Mr. Mayor? Thank you. Thank
Let
you.
him finish.
Thank you. I want to specifically address item 10A now, and specifically as to whether or not to continue to grant the fee waiver to the Women's Club. As I think all of you will know, and I think every council member for the last several councils will attest to, I'm not a big fan of you guys spending my tax dollars and my revenue and the town money. I think that I've made that pretty clear. However, and if you just look at it from that strictly financial perspective, I would not support giving the Women's Club a fee waiver. That said, there's something that is much more important to me than money, and that's integrity. And it's clear to me that over the past decades, the town has given these ladies a fee waiver, and while I understand that specific provision may not have been in the written contract and agreement with the Women's Club, that's certainly been the custom and practice. And when it comes to integrity, ladies and gentlemen, you need to err on the side of integrity. You've done it consistently. You need to continue to do that. And I wouldn't sell out my integrity for $650 or $650,000. And I don't expect you folks to do that either. The final thing I want to say is this, as this financial statement proves, clearly in the past the Oprah Strut has been broken, at least 8 out of the last 10 years. But it's clearly not broken now because last year was the most profitable year in 10 years and one of only 2 years that it was profitable. And I would submit to you that it's no longer broken, so quit trying to fix it and promptly enter your no vote on certainly item 10A and probably 9B, and do it promptly so we can move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Peggy Grillett, president of the Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club, 304 Cross Creek Court, Columbia, South Carolina. I would like to address item 9B as well. The Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club protests the proposed amendment to the Town Ordinance 1602 charging participation, booth, and electrical fees to the club. I'd like to quote from Jake Moore's letter to the editor in the February 11th, 2016 New Irmo News. When the Women's Club gave Irmo control over the strut, there was a promise made by the town. The ladies would always be given free space at the festival for sales and promotion of their good works. I know this promise was made because I was there when it was made. The Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club would simply like the town of Irmo to honor that promise and maintain its integrity. Thank you.
Anyone else? I think it's me. Get this thing out of the way. Oh,
We can move around.
I thought mine was still making noise, but we got new mics. We'll get used to it sometime. Seeing no other, the next item on the agenda is item A, under unfinished business, third and final reading of ordinance 1601 to amend the Irmo zoning ordinance, Article 2, Section 2-2, use of tables. This has to do with neighborhood commercials, where we are taking codes out and not allowing gas pumps in neighborhood commercial anymore. Is there a motion for third and final reading?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor then of third?
Roll, please.
All right, go ahead.
Who?
You.
Call the roll.
Yeah, we'll go right down the thing.
Well, what's my name?
Councilman Walker.
Okay. No.
Good.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
And Kathy.
Yes.
And I am yes. So, 4 yeas and 1 nay. Next item is second reading of ordinance 1602 to amend the Irmo Town Code, Article 4, Boards and Commission. And actually, this is to delete the whole thing, 1602. And I will make a motion for second reading. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to introduce.
You'll have to second
I'll
first.
second.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I would like to introduce an amendment to this.
All right, what we'll do is, we'll go in order. I made a motion, you made a second, and then we can do that. There is a couple things I want to address real quickly, so there's no confusion. What's on the table is not amending anything on here, it's deleting everything on here. I think one of the items is not anywhere else. 3 of the items are already in the contract. And I will also mention, I have the minutes for the meeting in 1980 when that discussion was held and that vote was held, and there was no promise anywhere at the meeting. Now, there might have been after the meeting. There might have been 1, 2 years after the meeting, 3 years after the meeting. Who knows when that promise came about. But it was not made at the meeting. And at the meeting, it was discussed that 3 things that were on that contract was not that we would take control of the orchestra, and it was given to us, but we bought it. We paid 25%. Whatever was made that year, we took 25% of whatever was made and was given to the women, so it was bought. At that time, it became the town of Irmo's.
You talking about the meeting on May last year, or the one in
1980. When this discussion, when this contract was.
You have a copy of the minutes?
Yeah, but I'm not through talking either. You can. So at that meeting, there was a discussion and it was a vote, and it passed, I think, 4-1. I believe I have to look back at it. I think it was one gentleman that did not. But regardless, there was an agreement that basically said we would pay them 25% of whatever was made that year, which we did. It was in the agreement that they would get their first choice of booth locations, which they have forever since then. And it was also in there that they got to have exclusive right to sell poker. If there was anything else that should have been said or put in writing, such as a promise, it wasn't. And as far as, like Mr. Glassmeyer said, we spend way too much time on the orchestra altogether. But that became ours in 1980 when we bought the orchestra. It's not something that we can give up unless we're willing to, and it's not something we can not discuss. Being that it belongs to the town of Irmo and we're elected to make those decisions, it belongs to us. And regardless of anything we do with this, anything you amend, every 2 years, a new council can come along and throw it out the door. That's the problem, is that there's no such thing as a promise made from elected officials unless they serve forever, or unless somebody wants to believe a promise. I mean, there's a lot of been made. I don't know how many pieces of paper I got today when I came home for presidential candidates promising. And most people, I would assume, should know that you don't take those too seriously. But regardless, council has, over the years, whether they did it in a vote, which they, as far as I know, they never have, they did it by not doing anything. Somebody made a promise, and I don't doubt George, I don't doubt Jay Moore made one. Whether he made it on behalf of the town or for the town or by himself, who knows, because I've never seen it. I've been serving since 2005, y'all been serving for a long time too. We never voted on it. We have never voted on it. Technically, it should be something that should be voted on every 2 years to see what the council wants to do. They can do it or not do it. So until we either get rid of the orchestra and give it to a nonprofit and let them do everything they need to do, and let's get out of that, this is something that's going to be on our table. And every time we do a budget, every time we have a new election, every time somebody gets upset with somebody and wants to change their vote, we can put this back on the agenda and start over. There's no such thing as honoring what past councils have done, because every council can make that decision anytime they want to change, or a new council can come in, or who knows what can happen. That's one of the problems why this thing is in it.
Along with that, and I'm only going to interject one thing. Libby Green said it was agreed, and she was there.
It's not in the minutes, all I'm saying.
I don't care if it's in the minutes, she does lie. And on Facebook tonight, Susan Derrick, who was president of the Women's Club in 1980, said that was also the agreement. She also said she was so sick and tired of us, she wished we would shut it down because she was
I
tired
wish
of
we'd
us talking.
give it to someone and let them run it, let us get out.
Oh, it's ours.
But it is ours, and because it is ours, as long as we're serving, then that's the decision we gotta make. I wish we could give it to someone. Well, we don't. I've never promised since 2005 to do that, never. And I don't care if somebody in 1980 or 84, 85, 86, 88, 89, whatever deal. New council could come along. That's like saying we're gonna hire somebody to be our town attorney for 38 years, and now they're entitled to be it for 60. I mean, council can do whatever. But that's your next, so.
All right, I would like to nail it down, at least for this council. A precedent was set. Precedents are not law. But if we change this, I propose this change, and I'd like to read it to you. The Lake Murray Women's Club founded the orchestra as a fundraising endeavor to build a public library. Following the completion of this project, the festival had become too large for the club to manage. An agreement was reached where the town of Irmo would assume the responsibility to manage the festival. To honor the Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club for their founding of the orchestra and for their continued charitable work in our community, the following allowances and stipulations will be in place. A, the Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club retains the exclusive right as the sole provider of fried okra during the annual Okra Strut Festival within the festival site. B, the Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club will not be charged any participation fees and allowed to keep 100% of the revenues earned from their booths in the current Okra Strut. C, the Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club will be permitted to select the location of their choice for the sale of fried okra during each Okra Strut Festival. And D, the Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club will be allowed a voting seat on the Irmo Okra Strut Commission. Recommendations will be approved by the commission and forwarded to the town council for appointment. When I was running for office, I ran across a lot of ordinances that were not clear and straightforward. And when I voted last meeting in favor of deleting this, that was to open up a discussion among us and allow you, when you had the second chance to speak, to come up and speak. I think integrity is also important, Mr. Glassmeyer. And it's been done this way for years on a handshake agreement. Well, there aren't too many gentlemen left in the world now that do handshake agreements. And it's a sad thing. But in the South, that was something that was always brought as something that we did. And I think by doing this, we're making it a clear statement. The 1980 statement did not say anything about no fees. That was the one thing that I wanted to bring up when we had our discussion in the last meeting. This nails it down, so this should make it a done deal. And that's why I'm proposing this.
If I may, Councilman, I would like to just address B.
Yes?
All I would like to say is, I believe they're getting 2 booths currently. I would like it to actually point out 2 booths.
Under B? Okay. From there.
Well, it does say they'll be able to keep 100% of their revenues earned from their booths.
Booths.
But I put the word, put
It's plural.
2 in front of it.
We just want to, we want to
Make it
do
clear.
this right. We want to do this right. That's all. And if I may, I'd just like to say that I appreciate the passion that you all have shown in coming here and for all of the service that you've done throughout the years. Again, I told you I want to do the fair thing for the town. Given that the money that you earn comes back into the community, this is the fair thing to do. Plain and simple. Thank you for your work. Thank you for all the work that you've done and for the work you will continue to do because of this. If we were to impose this fee, it's only going to take away a scholarship. And that makes no sense. That makes no sense. So, thank you for the work that you've done. I think, again, our attorney has said that he doesn't have a problem giving this stipulation. So, I think we can go forward.
I think this is proof that mountains can be moved by women.
What about chopped liver?
We can do that too.
Well, one question I want to ask, the difference in this one and this one, 1504 and 1602.
So, can we delete the old one and
Well, what you have to do, because this one is maybe 2 sentences different or something, or 2 spots, is right now there's a motion on the table to delete all of 1504, basically.
well, again, I just need to ask, if we delete 1504, can we put in 1602?
Well, if you delete 1504, then you'd have to start over with 1602. Or your amendment would have to be that you want to amend from deleting 1504
Kim?
to amending.
Well, we're not doing. Yeah, 1504
1504 is not on the
a long
table.
time ago. It's now
Yeah.
actually in the town code.
Right, that's
So
what
we're talking
deleting.
section 2-267.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
So on
wording
the
this
table
one-
is, if you wanted to
I mean, what's on the table is deleting
vote
everything.
this 1602
267.
down and then bring back
Right, but
16.
you'd have to do that at another,
Correct.
or your amendment would have to be, instead of deleting 267, you want to amend it to
read as follows.
read as
read as
follows.
follows in 1602.
That's better.
Then, two, or you'd have to add the two in your amendment.
Well, it says booths, and that indicates more than one, so.
And the only other thing I will say is, again, whatever we do,
It can be undone.
it can be undone, whether it's 2 years from now, whatever the next election, all that kind of
But
stuff.
at least we've taken a stand and tried to make it right
Yeah.
and clear.
So are you going to make a motion to
Amend.
So,
amend,
267.
amend 267, instead of deleting it, to add this, which is,
Clear as mud, Kim?
Yeah. No, I actually haven't.
Terrific.
If y'all want copies.
I'll give everybody a copy.
so you're gonna make a,
So move. If we strike 267 and insert this in its place.
do the switch. Not delete. And I'm gonna call it U267. Is there a second?
Yes.
Any discussion then on that amendment? And do you want to add two to it?
Yes. Yeah, again, that clears it up.
So is there amendment to
Make an amendment.
amend?
I make an amendment,
To the
to the
amendment.
amendment, that we make it 2 booths.
How can you amend the amendment if you haven't voted on
Oh, you just.
Well, we have to amend the amendment, then we go back to that one and then.
it? You haven't voted on it.
Mhm.
Well, accept it.
You're right.
So who's,
All right, we need to vote first on the original amendment to not delete, and then we'll,
Right.
well, or you can do that one and vote on that, because that may not pass.
How do you want us to do it?
well, however you all would like.
Well,
How do you want to vote on it first, and then do the amendment?
Done amended.
you can, but you can do it the other either way, no matter how.
Then I want to amend it to say 2 booths.
2 booths. Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion on that? All right, all in favor of adding 2 booths to it instead of booths, do so with show of hands. Whatever. And would you vote?
You didn't call for that?
No. All opposed?
You oppose this? Really?
You opposed the 2 booths. Now,
Hold on 1 second, I want to get,
it was 4 to 1 to amend to add 2 booths instead of just booths.
would you give this to the ladies?
All right, now, you ready?
Yeah.
Now what we're voting on is Julius's amendment to delete the deletion, so to speak, and to add this new 267 that he gave us.
Well, you got a second on it, right?
Yeah,
So you
Yeah.
discuss it.
yeah, so, well, I think we did discuss it.
I
Well, we
didn't
did
get a
discuss
chance to
it.
discuss it yet.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. You said a couple of things in your diatribe about why we shouldn't, like how we can change stuff. The council in May of 2015 did in fact vote on this ordinance. That's why it's an ordinance in the town of Irmo. We voted on it as a council to basically give the Women's Club all those things that are on Mr. Waits' amendment. And you wanted to delete everything on that amendment. So my question to you, or my statement to you is, if we delete your deletion, that basically puts it back into the way it is as it stands right now, as an ordinance. And so it's not necessary to rewrite the entire ordinance over again, just leave it alone, is basically what we're gonna do. So your amendment is unnecessary.
It does not say in the original amendment, Mr.
Well,
Walker.
let me finish. Your amendment is not necessary because you basically spelled out everything that's in the current ordinance. Okay? Only thing we would need to do, if you want to spell out specifically they're not charged a participation fee, which we also agreed on May of 2015, we also agreed that that's what was in the ordinance that we passed in May of 2015. Basically, just amend the ordinance to say that one sentence, that the Women's Club will not be charged any participation fees. That's all we need to do. We don't need to go and delete the entire ordinance or rewrite it again.
Well, the reason I thought we should include this statement at the beginning that we're honoring the Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club by giving them this buy, so to speak, would it keep us from having a problem with another tax exempt organization coming in and saying, well, they've got free booths, we ought to get free booths. This is saying why they have free booths. It was their festival, and we're giving them these booths as to honor them for their participation in what they've done for our community.
They can say that all they want. Any organization can say that all they want. The town attorney has already told us that they had given us this festival in 1980, or we bought this festival in 1980, so that's a quid pro quo, if you will, of why they get the free booth every time there's a festival.
But it's not written that they get the free booth.
I think
That's
that's
the
the
whole-
It is.
It is not in the 1980 decision.
I'm not in 1980, I'm saying the 2015, the one we did last May.
It's not written.
Yeah, but it was discussed at a council meeting, and we told them that's what we meant to do.
But you didn't do it. That's what you just said. You meant to do it.
the
Now
wording.
it's
The
being
wording
done.
is better.
That's fine, so this amended thing to say that wording, that's all you need to do. We don't need to delete the entire ordinance. That's a slap in the face to all the other councilmen. But even beyond that, what you're saying there is that anything that that a past council has passed is basically null and void when you have a new council, which is a bunch of hooey. You can't sit there and tell me that everything that we passed for the last 15 years since I've been on council, or 13 years since I've been on council, can be reversed by a new council by coming in and electing a new council. If that's the case, then you might as well go back a little further than that to the 1964 Voting Rights Act, and African Americans couldn't vote in elections. They made it very hard for them to do that. Why don't you reverse all of that too while you're at it? I mean, that's just nonsense that you're talking.
Well, let me
The
address that.
Volstead Act stopped the sale and production of alcohol in the United States, and then in 1932, that was reversed by another amendment of the Constitution.
Because politicians need to. be
And let me address a couple things
So
here.
it can be changed.
Any council can change any ordinance on the books anywhere. They can create a new one, they can get rid of one, they can amend it, they can change it. Yes, they can. As far as changing the Voting Rights Act of 1964, Irmo didn't pass that. That was passed by the federal government. We don't have the authority to pass federal law or amend federal law, only town ordinances. As far as...
We gotta wait till the Civil War. We did.
Wait a minute, I'm talking about Irmo, I'm talking about this.
Do anything you want to do in the town.
Council can, every 2 years, get rid of every one of the ordinances they want to. They have that authority, they have that right. There are two things that were mentioned. I think somebody has reminded me of a mutual understanding that City of Columbia had got sued and went to the Supreme Court and they lost. There are two things that have to do with a memorandum of understanding. One of them is if the contract or the service is proprietary, which is like garbage service, then you go by that. If it's governmental, which would be in the terms of if we wanted to give Bob Brown a contract or Eric Hill a contract, and we wanted to give him a 20-year contract, we can, but it's not enforceable past the 2 years because we can't bind another council on a government decision. Whatever we do with the Oak Street is a government decision, so it's not binding. Not binding past 2 years, and any council can change it, and for that matter, any sitting council at another day of the week can change it. They don't have to wait for another election. If the mood of council changes and they want to amend it, change it, they can. That's just part of politics, and that's part of why, again, the thing should be taken out of the town's hand and put in a nonprofit's hand and us get out of it, so we would eliminate a lot of that stuff. But so much for a course and town government politics and all that good stuff. Any more discussion about this matter?
Well, if you want to be simple about it, why don't we just be straightforward and instead of having all these innuendos and I guess sidebar discussions about what's right and what's wrong with the council, why don't you just get rid of the orchestra or just cancel?
If you want to put it on the agenda for a later date.
Well, yeah, that's what you're doing. I mean, you're slowly chipping away at it.
No,
I
no.
mean, by messing with the women's club, by messing with the orchestra foundation structure. I mean, what else can you do?
This is a discussion.
Why don't you just cut to the chase and then let's not stop going through this every council meeting. You know, Mr. Glassmeyer claims that we talk too much about the orchestra, and you're the one that keeps putting everything on the agenda about the orchestra. So, I mean, why don't we just get rid of the whole discussion altogether?
That'd be an option you can put on the table at a later date. I challenge you to do that if you said want to. As far as all the other things that we've done, we have.
Somebody's called for a question.
Somebody's speaking too.
Somebody's called for a
You
question.
can't interrupt.
The question can be interrupted.
No, you can't.
Mr. Attorney,
Let me finish.
can you please tell him that when they call for the
I'm
question,
getting ready
that
to.
cuts off discussion right
Yeah, why don't
here?
you tell him to shut up and cut off that discussion? But I did have the floor.
Mr.
You
Attorney,
asked a
you
question,
called for
and
the
I'm going
question.
to answer those.
What's your ruling on that, Mr. Attorney?
As George Glassmeyer mentioned, we do a lot of discussions.
I'm not gonna do it Robert's Rules of Orders.
And the money.
You're gonna write this, you're gonna ignore the
I would
rules.
love to give it to the women's club or to the Sheriff Guy Club or to the Chamber of Art. But until council's willing to do that, and we have made a lot of changes in the orchestra, and in fact, a lot of those changes allowed us to make $10,000 to $16,000 last year instead of lose, so I'm happy with that. But anytime y'all get tired of listening to me, let's give it to a nonprofit, set up a nonprofit and move it forward.
The man just called for a question, you're not listening to him, so why
I
should you
second
listen?
the call to the question.
You cannot interrupt the speaker to call for the question, you must have the floor, and I will speak.
No,
So, yes, you do.
Yes, we called for the question.
Read the book. You can't
You
interrupt
got
the
a
speaker
second.
to call. You can't interrupt the speaker to call.
Second.
So, we're on this journey, are y'all ready to vote?
Please.
Ready to vote on the amendment?
Get him a copy of Robert's Rules of Order.
I'm sure he can find it on there real quick and let him see where you cannot interrupt the speaker to call for that.
But we need to change that.
Well, you can. I think the municipal association puts out a little book called Something for Dummies. It makes it real simple that anybody can read, but I'll find it for you and pass it on.
That is true, but sometimes even you need to be interrupted.
Well, that may be true. I can think of some other people that need to be interrupted as well. So all in favor of the amendment that Julie has made and Kathy seconded, do so with show of hands. 1, 2, 3. And all opposed.
Lord, Hardy, Jerry, vote.
Yep.
For all of that, right?
You got that, Kim?
I think.
Who's on first?
Next item is an approval of an open strap policy regarding nonprofit organizations. I don't know that that's really necessary at this time, but is there approval, and I think y'all have it in front of y'all there. Is there approval for the open strap policy regarding nonprofits? Is there a motion?
Where a copy, do you have a copy of this policy?
It's on pages. It's on pages.
Oh, that's right, y'all got it on there, yeah.
It's on pages.
Is there a motion?
Everybody see yours?
No, but I have a request. The next time, and any of us can put anything on the agenda, that's true, but the next time, I know you were waiting on a legal opinion, and that is fine too, but just scratch something on there so we know what that is on the agenda. I think that's important. Even
Well-
if it's a handwritten thing, I don't care.
I had sent something to Bob last, whatever, Wednesday or Thursday, I'm not sure what day it was, and that got sent there for him to look at, and what I had wrote coming out of this head needed cleaning up, and he did a good job of making it look
I have
better.
faith that he did, but I would have rather seen what you wrote and know what this meant on the agenda than have no background at all, even if it was a little strange. In this case, it was not as important as in other cases, but do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But we've also had many things in the past put on the agenda with nothing given to Bob in the administrative briefing about it. And, that's life,
Back
but
when
sometimes we wait till we get there. And just like the thing we voted on tonight, that wasn't in our agenda.
What, his amendment?
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah. Anyway, is there a motion for approval of item A under new business? Seeing none, is there approval to give Keep Midlands Beautiful $2,500?
I so moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion?
For those of you, and I don't know whether you've been here when we had these days or not, when we had those, but Ms. Buck, who is here and is willing to talk, but anyway, she does a masterful job of all types of recycle and trash and you name it. She has somebody that is there to take it away, and it's a wonderful thing. And would you like to address us, Ms. Buck?
Yeah.
Why don't you
Come
do
up.
that?
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Buck. I'm the Executive Director with Keep the Midlands Beautiful. And we have been putting on our electronic waste shred, household hazardous waste, scrap metal, tires, waste cooking oil events. We've had them at Crossroads Village here. The last one that we had here in April, we had over 900 vehicles that came through. We serve Lexington and Richland County here, so it's great for Irmo. They can both come here. We actually had to shut them down. We had lines backed up to Kroger, unfortunately. We normally do it from about 8 to 12 o'clock. We did in October, actually November, we did it out at the new Spring Hill High School. It was a dreary day, but we still did have 350 folks come through. We collected over 400 tons of household waste and paint. That's one of the things that's really become a difficult thing for people to recycle. And so we bring in the South Carolina Agriculture Department, and it's open to farmers not just from Lexington and Richland County, but from the whole state. And they recycle it down to 6 colors. They take it down to Charleston, and it's recycled over to China, where they will use it, the 6 colors that's combined into. We have an event coming up in February 20th at Creighton Middle School from 9 to 1 for Richland County residents. For Lexington County residents, there's one at Saxagatha over in Lexington, one scheduled right now in August at Gilbert Elementary, and then we have one at Irmo High School already scheduled for November, and that will be similar to the one that we had here at Crossroads. We moved it down the street a little so we could back it up a little bit further. I have our reports for you all. Can you help me out? Thanks so much. From last year, where it lets you know that Our volunteers removed over 226,000 pounds of trash from the Midlands roadways. Over 6,500 volunteers come through our office. We are only 2 full-time employees. We've contributed over 30,000 hours of service to the Lexington and Richland County, and we did 127,459 pounds of electronic waste. We kept over 4,000 shoes out of the landfill. We do that in April. We get scouts and schools and businesses to help because over 630 million shoes end up in landfills each year, and they are made out of toxic materials. Some of the other things, obviously, that you know, Keep the Midlands Beautiful has given grants to the town of Irmo for the Irmo Park, and just recently we have given a $2,500 grant to the Women's Club and Friends of the Library. They are refurbishing the park, or it's the small habitat gathering garden behind the Irmo Town Library. Across the street is they are building a hospice, and so it's going to be a lovely place for folks in the assisted living and hospice area to come and gather. There's a pet waste station, there's benches, and the ladies that are here tonight, not only from do they work with the Orchestra Committee, they put in sweat equity when they're giving grant money to do things like that in the community. So they work with nonprofits like Keep the Midlands Beautiful, and we'll be happy to keep the Orchestra beautiful when we do the recycling there. So don't let it go to waste. We'll put our hand up to help out with that. So that's Keep the Midlands Beautiful. We were glad to see you all at the gala. With all of the money that was raised at the gala goes back into beautification. Next week we are planting 42 trees down at Owens Park. So we just received the Presidential National Award from the Keep America Beautiful CEO Jennifer Jen at National Conference in Orlando. So
Congratulations.
thanks.
And thank you for the work that you do. It's needed. I'm from an area that didn't have these programs, and we had litter throughout the community, and this is absolutely needed. Thank you.
One reason the playground at the new park is so big is because she found a grant. Was it Lowe's or Depot?
Lowe's gave us 2 grants. We did $20,000 for the second playground and $10,000 for the first. And so we've done $30,000 in grants, and then
Money well spent. Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor then of the approval to give Keep the Midlands Beautiful $2,500, do so with show of hands. Next item is a letter of credit in the amount of $40,687.50 for Garden Brook subdivision, Phase 2. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second. I'll second. Okay. And I'll let Mr. Brown maybe explain a little bit of that.
Where's Garden Brook? Which one?
Right there next to Woodley's Garden.
That's over at Garden Brook.
Okay,
They're
got it.
finishing up over there by Woodley's Garden Center. They're giving us the letter of credit, not money we're spending. It's a guarantee to us that they're going to finish the infrastructure over there. So that's great.
Nice.
There's the sidewalks and retention ponds and all that stuff. Fence around the retention pond.
They've already got that in place.
And just to ask to make sure we don't forget, how do we make sure this letter of credit doesn't expire, or does it not expire?
Oh, I've got part of my calendar.
If I may, Bob, does anyone else on staff have a duplicate calendar? I'd love 2 sets of eyes on that. Just in case something happens and you're the only calendar that's looking at this, if perhaps Kim or the city clerk, whoever it is looking at it, I'd like 2 sets of eyes on this. You don't want to.
Does business license people keep up with that too?
Vi Racine does, she has stuff on them. I mean, she keeps up with it.
Yeah.
And just so you know, that this one expires July 7th, 2016. And their original one was for $98,103. And they finished up.
That was the first one.
That was the first one that was approved. And they finished up $57,415 of that. So we're releasing that, and the new one, which you just approved, will be
You said it expires when?
July 7th, 2016.
That's coming.
It's coming up. I mean, he's pretty much finished with the whole project, other than,
Yeah, Richmond County's already accepted
Yeah.
that, how much, the $57,000 worth of work.
But as far as whatever's left, if it's not done by July 7th, do we renew that?
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying, they're almost done now with it. I mean, it's not, he just wants to lower his premium, which is why he's getting a lower letter of credit.
Okay.
They've been out there working, they got a lot of houses going up.
Any more questions? Seeing none, all in favor then of the letter of credit in the amount of $40,687.50, do so with show of hands. Next item is presentation by citizens. This is for anyone who would like to address council on anything, regardless of whether it's on the agenda or not. They do so at this time. All we ask is you give us your name and address for the record.
George Glassmeyer, 100 Zembeck Road. I'd like to address town expenditures at the risk of Mr. Walker wanting to amend the federal budget or the U.S. Constitution. I noticed that the town attorney has been here since he was appointed for the duration of every meeting, and I certainly have no problems with the quality of the service he's rendering. What I have a problem with is council and or the administrator directing him to be here for the entirety of every one of these meetings, because essentially then you're paying him his hourly rate to sit here and listen to non-legal issues, to watch you guys do the Pledge of Allegiance, the invocation, to discuss civic lessons and everything else that he's not needed for. Now I understand there's a cap on his fee, and that's all well and good, but your goal should not be to reach that cap. It should be to not reach it as long as you get the service from him that you need. And it seems, I've attended a few council meetings in my life, and there aren't that many meetings that I've seen where you need an immediate answer from the town attorney. Therefore, what I would suggest and urge you to do is, unless there's a foreseeable issue where you're going to need his services at the time of the meeting or during an anticipated executive session, ask him not to come, and if one of you council members have a legal question, you can relate it to Bob, and he can call him or email the attorney the next day, and it may only result in, and I'm not trying to reduce your income, counsel, God knows. I'm all about the full employment act for lawyers, but you may end up reducing the amount you pay from a 2, 3, 4 hour meeting to a 15-minute consultation. You're getting better use of your money and not have him sit here when he's not needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You continue to come to the meetings every time, okay?
Anyone else would like to address council? Seeing none, one thing I will address, and I don't like to do this because that's for you to address us, but part of the reason he is here is so that we can get a very good idea in a 3 to 4 month period on what is costing. And then hopefully we can sit down and do a, what do we call that, flat fee type thing, so we can fix that into our budget. We just signed checks tonight for him. In the last 2 months, each one has been about $1,800. So it's a little bit less than what it was before, but we haven't had court next month. I think it's next month we have court. It could be considerably higher, but then when it's all averaged out, it's probably going to be somewhere in the same as it was, or even less than it was before. But we'll look at that then and either do a flat fee or keep on with the hourly rate and tell them you're not needed. That's fine too. But you never know what little stuff comes up here and there as far as when can you call for a question, when you can't, and all these things that might need to be addressed or might not. But anyway, anyone else would like to address council? Seeing none. Next item is executive sessions, nothing here, so next item is adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion.
And is it second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. That's five ayes. Oh, here, read that.
I'm not going to read that. You're going to be interrupted. I will.